Hey everyone, we're live and welcome to this live after show or live recap from Nerdrotic for Supergirl. Tonight's episode was pretty interesting. As usual, I'm your host, John Reed. You can follow me on Twitter at JohnReed16. And joining me from sunny San Diego
Actually,
is
rainy
Dennis.
San Diego.
Rainy San Diego.
Yeah,
What?
it actually was pouring down rain today, believe it or not.
That is just unnatural. It's
Yep.
just unnatural. But anyway, this is
Actually,
Dennis Pathalkis. How's it going, Dennis?
doing all right. I was, keeping dry at least. And you can follow me at DeForce on Twitter
Da
as well.
Force. Yep.
DeForce.
So, this episode of Supergirl, we're 3 episodes in now. I think we're getting an idea of what the new CW Supergirl is going to look like. We had some interesting cameos and new arrivals onto the show, and we had a pretty heavy-handed political episode of Supergirl dealing with illegal aliens and amnesty and all sorts of other stuff. So, I guess we should dive right in. How did you like the episode, Dennis?
I thought it was fun. I had a lot of fun with it, honestly.
Yeah,
And there was enough Wonder Woman references to make me happy.
her other jet.
Yeah, well, not only that, but also how Kara put out her fire, the flames that were on her suit.
Yes.
She did the
Yes.
little spin,
Hmm.
which was
And it was
awesome.
brand new. Yeah, it was awesome. Um, so let's actually go right into this. So the president, the Madam President in this universe, is coming to National City to sign in a new amnesty bill for actual aliens. And there's a little controversy over this. And during the signing, the president is attacked, and that's kind of the major storyline going this episode.
Actually, she's attacked twice. She's attacked when she arrives,
When
and
she
then
arrives
also when
and at
she's
the
doing the
signing.
signing.
Exactly. And at the end of last episode, we saw Monel come out of his coma and just kind of run away, and they think that he's the one who attacked. But before we get there, the president, played by Linda Carter, who is the original TV Wonder Woman,
The
and it was really
76 Wonder Woman, yep,
yep.
1976.
And it was really fun to see her return to this universe as this president with all the little the little Easter eggs for all the Wonder Woman fans. How did you like Linda Carter here as Wonder Woman, or sorry,
Oh,
as the president?
she was awesome. She was actually in the first season as well
Oh,
as the
okay,
president.
I
Yeah,
forgot that.
yeah. You saw a TV appearance,
Mm.
so that was
Okay,
just
so this was a much more major part of the episode than her last.
yeah, yeah. It was good that they brought her back, in, and she's always fun to have around. Honestly, she does such a good job, and she truly enjoys. I think doing the little bit parts to call back to Wonder Woman.
And she I think she is one of those, unlike some of these older cult actors, cult TV or genre TV actors. She seems to really relish her time as Wonder. She shows up to a lot of cons, does a lot of signings.
Yeah,
She's really involved with the fan community, and it's really fun to see her kind of get her due now, where she's got another major role, potentially major role on the CW DC universe shows.
yeah, exactly. Sky High. She kind of plays the same role in Sky High, if you will. But
I haven't seen Sky High. I guess I'm gonna have to go watch that now.
come on, it's got Bruce Campbell in it and Linda Carter.
So I don't know how I missed it, Dennis. I don't know how it slipped through. Um,
And it also has the girl who plays Killer Frost,
oh, I didn't know that.
Hannah Baker. Yeah, she's one of the main characters.
I didn't know that.
Hmm.
So I'm actually surprised you like this episode, because we just talked about how I was enjoying the political aspects of Arrow and you weren't, and now we have a very political episode of Supergirl. Now it's different, right? It's not like political maneuvering. This was just like political messaging, I guess you would say.
Yeah,
But
it wasn't the same. In Arrow, it was a lot more boring. It just really was. It was a lot more boring. Where this was just kind of like, okay, yeah, they're doing the illegal alien thing, which honestly, it's kind of funny when you're talking about interstellar aliens versus people from another country or something like that. And
right.
I thought that was kind of amusing. It was a nice little touch.
Yes. It did though dominate the the main storyline of this episode, right? Like it wasn't just like a nod to the amnesty bill in the background. Like this was all about the signing an attack because of the interpretation of what this bill might mean for aliens, whether it's amnesty or as the villain in this case said was registration, right? Like
Yeah,
if I'm an alien, I'm not going to be able to. I have to come forward with my identity and all that sort of thing.
yeah.
So first of all, who is this villain? And because like I've shown many times on this, I'm more of a TV person and I'm more of a Marvel person, so my DC lore isn't that solid. But it just seemed like a flamey villain. Is there something to
Red
this
Hot,
chick?
I believe, is what her name was.
Okay,
Um, and I honestly don't know. She was probably just like some B-list villain. I'm gonna do what we normally do during the show, and
and
I'm
Google
going to
Red Hot and see
Google.
what's up. So Red Hot, I didn't even really remember hearing her name, although, you know, there were times when maybe I was dozing. No, just kidding. I wasn't dozing off. But I I didn't really hear who this villain was. All I could really tell is she's kind of like a rebel chick in leather, and she does not want to have to register, and so she's trying to stop the signing of this bill any way possible. I would also like say that Supergirl's critical thinking during battle seems to be at a super low right now, where she's trying to fight fire with both ice and tornadoes, both of which seem either pointless or downright dangerous, right? Like you don't really want a fire swirling tornado, or she can
What
just
she was
melt the
doing
ice.
was she was actually what she learned from the Flash was to run around very quickly. You suck all the air out, and you make it so that she can't breathe. And
Right, so it's the vacuum.
yeah, it's the
In
vacuum.
reality, though, we can agree this was just a fiery tornado mess, right? Like this wouldn't actually probably work.
It depends, really. I mean, but and I can't find any reference to Red Hot, so I think that was just Agent Danvers saying, calling her Red Hot.
Okay,
That's
interesting.
a
So yeah,
kind of a quip.
weird that they wouldn't maybe find a more notable fiery villain to use. You needed them to have the literal red herring to the fire, the eye laser power that Monel should have. Um,
Well,
so
yeah, that was the whole thing. Is the introduction of Mon-El was our supposed bad guy. That way, they didn't really. I kind of like that they didn't name the villain. To tell you the truth, that they
okay,
didn't. It was just kind of a faceless, if you will, criminal that but had superpowers.
a faceless criminal alien that is doing dangerous things.
Yeah.
Um, so that kind of gets into the Monel side of things. I need to ask you kind of a logistical question here. He's from a completely different planet, yet he has a name that would signify he's part of the House of El. How is this possible?
I honestly don't know, to tell you the truth. From what I remember, Mon-El was supposed to be part of the House of El. He was actually supposed to be like a
Right.
cousin or something. And now they're making. I remember that there was some lore that they had changed where he did come from another planet that was close to Krypton. And I guess that's the one that they're using, which is kind of stupid. Well, then again,
Yeah.
having another cousin showing up, all of a sudden
Yeah, but
would be
I
a little
do.
bit too
To me,
much.
it just like it's just so hard for me to like. This seems to be a glaring continuity error. I'm not one of those people who really picks apart a lot of little things. I understand why comics need to retcon things and blah blah blah. But the House of El is a pretty important staple in Kryptonian lore in the DC universe, and to have somebody who is named within the House of El not even be from that planet just seems to be lazy, or I don't know. It's just weird. Like I don't understand it. Like it confused me because I really did think he was a Kryptonian from what we had discussed, and just from his name, right? Like I thought he was going to be some sort of a relative to Kara, and then that would be a specific bond instead of being like a rival alien race that are they're blaming each other for a war that may have been started between Krypton and Daxus. So yeah,
Yeah,
it was just weird to me. I didn't get it.
actually, Daxum.
Daxum.
I actually just pulled it up here, and it looks like they have retconned it in the 21st century at least. So it
Okay.
is Daxum. He has super. He has everything that pretty much all the Kryptonians have. Um, so he's also known as Valor,
Okay.
and Manel, which is like M apostrophe and then Onel, instead of Monel.
Right.
So it's kind of weird. And he has been with the Legion of Superheroes, Superboy, and Superman. So he has shown up in all kinds of different things.
So here's another tie to, well, I mean, he's part of the super universe, but he's also tied to Superboy and Crisis. I mean, he's part of a retcon,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
speaking of, another character is introduced, Maggie Sawyer, who's one of the um, she's one of the earlier lesbian characters in the DC universe. She's basically, in a very tertiary, in a very liberal way, she's the Commissioner Gordon of the of Metropolis in the comics and now of National City. It seems like she was also a big part of the retconning during Crisis on Infinite Earths, and that's where she became more of a prominent role in the Metropolis PD. Um, do you know much about Maggie Sawyer, and how did you like this interpretation of the character?
I don't know anything about Maggie Sawyer, honestly. And I was kind of glad, to tell you the truth.
Yeah,
I like the character. The character was good. The thing that was kind of weirding me out, though, was that Agent Danvers seemed to kind of,
they've got a thing, man. They're going to be an item.
yeah, because when she was like walking away, she went, She actually said that,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Yep.
was like, really? So before we've had her talking about going out on dates and stuff like this. There's been no kind of build up to this, and they're just kind of like throwing her in the deep end, just kind of going, okay, everybody in the pool.
Yep. Yep. So she's going to be swimming in the girl pond, it seems, going forward.
Yeah,
Um,
which will be interesting. I mean, it's been done before. It's just
I
it
am
just
really
seems kind of out of
liking
place.
I am though really liking the introduction of both Maggie Sawyer and Lena Luthor, who we got more of in this episode. They're really giving our main characters foils to play off of. The idea that Kara was going to write this scathing article about Lena's attitude toward toward registration, toward the amnesty bill, the alien amnesty bill,
No, it was
and
actually
she
towards the device that Luther Corp was going to put out, or L
yeah,
Corp.
yeah, but just kind of like an anti-alien sentiment. She was going to bash her as like an
Yeah.
anti-alien person,
And
and
Sniper Card did exactly what he was supposed to do. He reined her in as an editor and basically slapped her down and said, "You wrote an opinion piece." Because if I wanted
right,
you to write an opinion piece, I would have put you on op-ed, which I
yeah,
didn't. He goes, "So rewrite this thing."
and look, I think this was another political message that's talking about how the press maybe gets too biased in their opinions and less objective in their reporting. So it was an interesting thing to tackle. But I also liked what I liked about how they did this was they tied it into the passion, the fact that Kara can get overly passionate about the things that she's doing. So when she maybe needs to be more objective about a situation, she's coming at it from a very biased, passionate viewpoint, and they use this as a way to have Kara deal with that aspect of her personality, especially where it comes to Monel and Lena.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. They did a good job, though. I mean, I think they balanced it. It wasn't heavy-handed, and I think they had fun with it too. To
Yes,
tell you the truth.
I think that the creators, the showrunners on the CW shows right now, it seems like they're having more fun right now than they've had since maybe the first like 5 or 6 episodes of The Flash. Like it
Yeah,
seems like a new era of like they're throwing a lot of stuff at us, and uh, you know including in that we get another, we talked about this before, Young Justice is going to be a effing thing because we get Megan,
we
she's
got.
Miss Martian,
Yeah, she's Miss Martian. Yes.
and we get her at the very end. She's the last daughter of Mars, or the last daughter of
Yes.
Mars, and John Jones is the last son of Mars, I guess. um, Going we get that reveal. So let's talk a little bit about Megan first before I go into the fact that it seems like the president is a white Martian, but we'll
Mhm.
get there. um, how did you like this version of Megan? Because I loved it. I love it.
Oh, I loved it too. I thought it was great. Um, and not only that, the thing that played off I thought was pretty well was you got to remember John Jones is a green Martian, and McGann is actually a white Martian as well.
Oh, she is. I
Yes,
thought so. I thought so, but that's
that's
interesting.
why he was having a weird vibe off of her, and her off of him,
Right.
because you know. And I just remembered, since you mentioned the president might be a white Martian in the first season. Remember, there was a white Martian that came down and was attacking the president.
Mm-hmm.
And we never knew, because that white Martian never was captured.
So that's potentially Megan.
No, no,
Oh no, it's the white Martian is impersonating the president. Right, right, right. I see where you're going
yes,
with this.
yeah,
Interesting. So this isn't even the president. It seems like this white Martian may have taken over the guise of the president because they're shapeshifters to be able to get this bill signed. Like it
yep,
seems very ulteriorly
yep.
ulteriorly motivated. Anyway, I'm sure that's a
Ulterior
sentence
motive.
somewhere. So what did you think of this little reveal at the end of the episode? Because I think that personally, I just think that it added, it really brought this into like comic book
Oh yeah,
form, right? Like
definitely.
it took this political issue and made it a comic book political issue, not like, it really did a good job of tying it in.
What I like about the series, what the series is doing right now, is they're not focusing on a big bad at the moment, and
Yep.
they're kind of just introducing multiple storylines, and they're kind of playing them out all together, which is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to see where it's going with this. I mean, I can hang with this right now. It's pretty good.
Me
It's
too. Me
different.
too. Um, the one thing I'm not liking about there's two things that stuck out to me this specific episode that I didn't love, and it's going to focus on one character that I really like and one character that I can't stand. Um,
I know exactly where you're going with this.
yeah, so the Jimmy Olsen stuff where
Hmm.
he's running Catco very very poorly and fighting with the editor of the news team. Um, having to make a stand against him at the end of the episode. Man, he's not on screen that much, but when he's on screen, it is not interesting or fun to watch at all.
Yeah, you could tell right now. I think he's actually bored with the part,
Yes.
and it's coming across because I've seen the actor before. He does a really good acting job.
Mhm.
In season one, he was doing a good job, and
Yep.
now he's kind of been.
Relegated to the sidelines. I mean, he knows the secret and he's not even in on the Supergirl stuff anymore.
Yeah, yeah, and so it's kind of like the actor is kind of going, oh well, I'm kind of giving up
Yeah.
on this role.
I understand now maybe why they went with the Guardian route. Maybe they made that adjustment when they saw where this is go. Like this may have been a not mid-season idea, but like after the first few episodes of production, maybe they figured out they needed to do something different. And I think that they're right in that case because right now it's just not working with Jimmy Olsen,
Yeah,
James Olsen.
yeah.
So the other thing I wanted to bring up is Wynn has also been relegated to quippy science guy at
You mean he's
headquarters.
become Uhura?
It's yes, exactly, and it's mind-boggling how they have, I think, a fan favorite character getting 2 minutes of screen time, and all he's doing is like quipping about shit.
I,
Like
I think
why?
I think honestly they were playing with it purposely, especially when he goes, and I've decoded the scrolls of blah blah. I
Mhm.
think that was their kind of nod that yes, we know this character hasn't had a lot to do, but it is going to be coming up.
So what do you think his role is? Like, what do you think they're going to do with him now?
He's probably going to become an agent at some
Oh,
point.
okay.
I
Instead
mean,
of just being Q, he's actually going to be brought into the field in some way. Is he going to become a superhero of some sort?
I doubt it. I highly doubt it.
You don't think they're going to like Caitlin Snow or Cisco him?
No, no.
Okay.
He'll become some kind of agent where we already seen him build tech out. He's going to be their Q, but he'll also be going out in the field.
So more like a Fitz from Agents of Shield.
Yeah, yeah,
So but worse. Did you say better?
better. Yes,
I
but
said
better.
worse. Funny. Um,
Yeah, yeah. I'm like we've talked about Agents of Shield. We're not really covering that one
yeah,
too much anymore, and
look.
it's
We would cover it, but we've expanded really quickly. Just for all you audience, everyone listening, everyone watching. Agents of Shield, if you're a fan, first of all, sorry, but second of all, we just got a lot of stuff that we're covering right now, and it's become a little painful to watch it and try to come up with things to say
Kind of
positively.
positive. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and we don't want to just sit around griping about a bad TV show. So, maybe one day if it gets good
Better.
somehow, which I don't think it will, if that does happen, maybe we'll start covering it. But for now, we're going to concentrate on the stuff we actually like to watch, and hopefully the stuff you guys like to watch as well. Um, so, Lena Luthor, I'm finding her more and more awesome as this goes on.
I
Um,
still can't get a beat on her, honestly. I don't know
yeah,
where
but I
the
like
character
that.
is
Don't you
going.
like that?
Yeah, I mean it's the same way you would have Lex be played, kind of slippery, and you're just not sure if this person is on the up and up or if they're hiding something.
Yeah, so let's talk about that piece of tech that you kind of mentioned at the beginning of this episode. She's developing a piece of tech for businesses to buy to scan the skin of people that come into their stores to determine if they're an alien or not, right?
Yeah, any
And
citizen can actually
right,
buy these
right.
devices.
But she particularly mentioned it was for like stores or something, which I didn't quite understand why they were signaling that out, but they did. Um, this seems to be something that a particularly a liberal show or liberal audience would find to be edging toward a villainous aspect of her business plan, right? But right now, she seems to be really ambiguous. She could be a good guy, and she could be the big bad that is just undercover as like a nice business owner, right? Like, so what
You
do you
got to
think?
remember, in the Flash universe on Earth 2, Harrison Wells actually invented a watch that detects any metahumans nearby that everyone wears.
Right. But they
And
did paint that as a very cynical, like he, at the time he invented that watch, he was very anti-meta, right?
oh
So
yeah,
it wasn't like he did it in an altruistic way. And it doesn't seem like Lena, like, we don't know if Lena is or not, right? She may be doing this in an altruistic way and just doesn't realize the negative impact or just
oh no,
doesn't care.
she wants to make money off of it. That's what she's
Right.
doing.
So
She's playing off of fears, obviously.
if she is a bad guy, is she going to be a bad guy that sometimes teams up with the good guys, or do you think she's just a full-on uh, baddie in this universe?
Again, I can't really tell. I mean,
It's so
it's
crazy. Me
yeah,
neither.
it's not enough has been given information, to make a decision one way or the other on that.
Yet she's been on screen far more than Wynn or James Olsen so far this season, or at least a little bit more, I would say.
No, not really. Wynn's been on just as long, maybe even a little bit
We need more
longer.
Wynn. We need more Wynn and more Lena, quite honestly. But we'll see. Um, So, anything else you wanted to touch on about this? I'm sure there's a lot. So, let's. What are some other things about this episode that you were digging or not digging?
Um, Trying to think there. I mean, I think we hit pretty much everything that uh, they had a really good balance with the issues, if you will. The journalism was actually pretty spot on. They did a good job of that. Like you said, Jimmy Olsen really kind of sucked in this episode, which
Yes.
yeah, he did. Win, like I said, I think they noticed that he's not doing a lot, and they kind of gave us as fans a little bone that yes, we know this, and he's going to be coming along. I like the bar too. I like
Yes.
the No Man's Land bar where the password is Dollywood to get in, and they're playing Dolly Parton music in,
Uh huh.
which was I thought was kind of hilarious.
And it's an alien bar, right? Like it's a place kind of like Caritas in Angel, where you've got, everyone is welcome as long as
Yeah,
you're not causing any problems, right? So
sanctuary.
it seems to be, yeah, it's a sanctuary, and it seems to be like this is going to be a major location that the show is going to use this
Oh yeah,
season going
it's a
forward.
set piece. It's definitely it's a new set piece.
Yep, and it's a good one. I thought it looked really cool. It was fun, and Megan works there, so I'm sure we're going to be back there quite often.
Oh yeah,
So where do you think the story is going next episode? We're going to have
we
Megan
still have
fighting.
Cadmus. Cadmus is the overarching at this point, so more than likely we're gonna have Cadmus come back. Um, we now have Mon-El. We don't know which way Mon-El is going to swing on this one. If he's going to go bad, or if he's going to work with. He's got the same powers as Kara.
Yeah, no, it seems like we've got a lot of characters right now that can turn bad on a dime when they need them to,
Yeah,
or be really interesting allies to kind of play to Kara's self-discovery process, right? So,
yeah.
I think we're going to get more of the Maggie Sawyer. What's Kara's sister's name again? Agent Danvers.
I call her Ancient Danvers.
Yeah,
Honestly, I can never remember her first name.
yeah, me neither. We're going to get that relationship starting more or building a little bit next episode. We're going to get the tension between Megan and Jon, I think, next episode. I bet he finds out she's um, uh, a white Martian
Martian.
by the end of the episode, and I think that they're going to tie Do you think the president's going to factor in next episode, or do you think she's going to come back later?
It's going to be later. And honestly, I
Okay,
don't think he's going to find out about McGann until
until
later
then.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would make sense. So is McGann going to be part of the team? Like, how do you think this is going to go going forward?
I think she's going to, at first, not want to be part of the team. And then something's going to happen, kind of like with what happened with Kara, where she's going to be forced to use the powers to do something out in the open. And then she's going to have to work with the DEO in order to be protected.
Okay, I like that. I can co-sign that.
It's
And
honestly, it's kind of a CW formula.
yes, and you were obviously going to get Kara writing another story next week and all that sort of stuff. So I
Yeah.
think we know where this is going. I'm looking forward to seeing what characters turn up. Where I'm getting with all of these shows is I'm interested to see what new characters show up every episode, even if it's just for an episode, whether it's the villain or McGann or whatever, right? They're doing a really good job of like having 4 or 5 new characters show up that are fun to see
Yeah.
on screen.
I mean, all pretty much all the shows are dumping in new characters all the time,
Yep,
and they're really just mining the DC universe
very
for
effectively.
characters. Yeah, and they're really, I mean, honestly, shoveling them in, if you will, into. I mean, come on, we had Arrow that's introduced a couple of people. We've had Legends of Tomorrow introduced the whole JSA.
Hmm.
You know, we've had this
Flash
show
has been
now.
more of an evolution of characters we already like. Jesse Quick becoming Jesse Quick, Wally West becoming Kid Flash, Caitlin Snow becoming uh,
Killer Frost.
Killer Frost, Cisco becoming Vibe. Like we're getting more of an evolution of characters on the Flash
Yeah,
front, but all these other shows they are just shoveling allies at us like crazy.
yeah. I
JSA,
mean,
like
this one
everything.
was a big one. I mean, we had four new characters this week.
Hmm.
So I
Yep.
mean,
So all I can say is I'm continually looking forward to these shows every night, every week. I also I noticed today, and this is something we haven't really talked about, but this is the first CW superhero show that we have on a Monday night. It's literally going up against Gotham over on Fox, but they're all produced by the same production company because all the characters are owned by DC and CBS, right? So or Warner, right?
yeah.
So
Actually, CBS doesn't own this one anymore.
right. Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry. It's Warner, which is half of the CW. The other half is
yeah.
CBS. So, but it's Warner. So these are all owned by Warner, and then they license the shows out to these different networks. But we have we have Supergirl now, which was kind of a failure when it was on CBS, going up against Gotham, which has been kind of a bummer for Fox. I think per
I was
expectation.
actually just looking at some of for believe it or not, IO9 had something on it today about ratings,
Hmm.
and ratings for Supergirl for the first episode were higher than the Flash. Uh,
For the first episode of season 2 when it came on to CW.
yeah, when it came onto
Yeah.
CW, which was lower by half on what it was in on CBS,
Hmm.
but
But
it's
it makes
good
sense.
numbers. It's good
Yes.
numbers for CW.
And like where I was going with this is it's going up against another DC property, both of which were struggling shows when they were on major network television. I would call CW kind of a tier 2 network, um,
Yeah,
and I think it's really interesting that Supergirl is, I think, pulling the audience over uh, as a more integrated show into the plan. And I'm just wondering if this is going to spell bad things for Gotham.
I watch both. I have Gotham on my DVR.
Right.
So
I mean, with DVR and everything, it doesn't matter that much, but I do think that there's something to it. Like they're going up against each other in a time slot, even with time shifted viewing and cord cutting and stuff. That still means something, right? And I think they're going to have to view these two shows as a winner and a loser based on ratings when we get to the end of the season. And I'm just wondering, you know,
Fox
is
reaches a lot more. I mean, it has a bigger market share than CW does, and
yeah, but I know more people who watch the CW shows than watch Gotham.
oh yeah, well, I mean, Gotham lost a lot of people because it's as Gary puts it, it's not a Batman show. It's Batman without the Batman
Right.
show.
I mean,
So
I think that they were smart that they started focusing on like villain origin stories when toward the end of the first season of Gotham and continuing on through. But I think that
that
they lost the people that were really interested in the show by making it with that early that early stretch of episodes.
not really, because when you think about it, Batman basically is fighting geriatric villains at this point. So when he becomes Batman, if you will. So if you figure what Bruce Wayne is, he was supposed to be 8, 10 years old, something like that when his
Right.
parents died, right? He
Yep.
doesn't really become Batman until he's 25,
Yeah. 28.
26,
Yep.
something like that. So you're looking at, okay, let's just say he's 10. Let's just go for as old as he is. 15 years, right? And you've already got these characters, these villains that
Who
are
are in their
in their
20s, 30s, 40s. Yep.
late 20s, early 30s kind of thing. So you're looking at them being in their late 30s into their 40s and having this
It's true.
25-year-old kicking their ass.
Right. Because he's got the advantage at that point.
Yeah.
No, you're right. It is weird the timeline that they're working with, but I do think it makes more compelling television since you don't have Batman to say like, oh, is this the origin story of the Joker? Is this the origin story? We also potentially have the like. We also potentially these are all characters from the DC universe. We have the potential to see characters in Gotham that are also going to show up in the CW DC universe, right? And I'd be interested to know
Yeah.
from you while you're watching Gotham, if that ever happens, bring it up here because I'd love to see which shows failing and working when they're dealing with these characters.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna have to worry too much about that. Maybe with Arrow, we might have a few crossovers,
Right.
but I don't think we're gonna have to worry about it with like Flash or Supergirl or anything like that, or Legends of Tomorrow.
I would just be curious if it ever comes up where you're
Oh
like,
yeah,
oh, there's another version. Definitely throw it out there because I don't watch Gotham, so I'd be happy to kind of hear how both shows are treating similar characters or the same
I honestly watch Gotham because it's literally batshit crazy, and it's it's a train wreck. You can't stop watching it. It's pretty funny in some respects,
Yeah.
and I just can't believe they get away with what they get away with. I
Yeah.
mean,
I
story
don't.
wise.
That's interesting. Maybe one day I'll go through and just like on a Sunday when I'm sick, like binge it and just see like what they did with it. But because I do really like a lot of the actors on that show, I'm a huge OC fan. So Commissioner Gordon played by Ben McKenzie, I'm a fan of. I don't know how they're executing or whatever because I'm not really watching anymore. But I love the
He's
concept of
he's actually good in it. Michael Chiklis is also in this now too. He's the chief right now,
right.
the captain of the police.
The actor who
Um,
plays Penguin seems really compelling.
yeah. He was actually in Walking Dead. He was Hippie Jim,
Right.
uh, who gets killed at Terminus right next to Rick. He's when he gets his throat slit, and
Yep.
they
Um,
actually brought him back. They brought him. He was doing Gotham. They brought him back specifically just for that one scene,
oh,
even
that's
though
funny.
he had been in the just one episode prior. Yeah, it was
God,
kind of
that's really
funny.
funny. Um,
And Harvey
okay,
Bullock
so
and
who's playing
you know
Bullock? Do you know? Oh,
Donnell Logue.
is it good?
Yeah, I don't. Do you know who Donnell Logue is?
No, I don't.
Remember the first Blade movie?
I didn't see it.
Really? You never saw
No.
the first? Like,
Here's the
God.
thing. Okay, so aside from Buffy, I don't watch a lot of vampire stuff, or it never really interested me. So I probably should go back and watch it.
It's a
But at the
superhero movie.
time, I was kind of like, meh, I don't
It's
really
the
need this.
first R-rated superhero movie, really.
Yeah, yeah, no, I'll definitely check it out. That's a good thing. I should probably go back and watch. But anyway, he was in Blade.
Yeah, he was actually one of the main. He was the head vampire. He was his lackey, the
Okay,
second in command, if you will, the second. And Blade always liked cutting him up, if you will. He would cut off arms off of him
gotcha.
because it would grow back. You know, he'd torture the guy.
That's funny.
Uh, he's been in other stuff too, though. If you saw Janelle Logue, uh,
Yeah,
he's been in tons and tons of stuff. But he looks like Harvey Bullock.
that's really cool. Okay, so and the show is being true to who Harvey Bullock is.
Oh yeah, I mean he's. I like him. He does a good job. If
Good.
anything, he's the most. It's kind of weird. He's the most grounded character, believe it or not.
Maybe we should do like a Gotham, like a monthly like Gotham check-in and just see how that show's progressing because I am fascinated. The Bat universe is the most popular. I think just the most popular comic book universe, right? Like the Batman movies, like everyone's fascinated with Batman and that universe, the Joker and everything ever
Yeah,
since I would say even the 1980s Batman, right? So I would say that's probably the most intriguing aspect, and to have that show bomb so quickly, um, it's interesting, right? Like I want to check back in and see what they're doing
well,
in
the
the
thing is,
sandbox.
I don't think it is bombing. I think it's actually holding pretty well in its ratings,
Yeah, but like
which is
when
really weird considering that it really has no right to be. Like I said, it's a train wreck. It's
right,
really is a train wreck, and it's just funny for me. I mean, I like watching it just because I know it's part of the Batman universe, but I could divorce it from
right.
that universe.
When I say bombing, I get that it's held a relatively sizable viewer base, but I mean like when you launch a Batman or Bat Family or Gotham show, you would think it would be rivaling like The Walking Dead, right? And it's not. And that's why I say bombing. Like
Yeah,
it's
it's because
not
Batman's not in it.
right, right. They screwed it up. And so they have this franchise that could be the biggest thing on TV and it's just a decent size audience, right? That's
Yeah,
what I'm trying to say
and
there.
that's mainly that's all Warner Brothers' fault, honestly. If they wouldn't be so chicken shit about having one of their characters on the screen, on the small screen, one of the Trinity,
Yep,
Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. Because right now they're talking about having superhero, a Superman spinoff off of Supergirl,
yep. So weird.
and yeah,
So
and I
weird.
mean that was 2 episodes. That was just 2 episodes, and they're already talking
Hmm.
about this because it was the highest rated CW
Hmm.
show.
Makes sense. I mean, look, it makes sense. I'm not clamoring for it. For me, Supergirl's great, and bring Superman into Supergirl if you want. But I'm not itching for another Superman show. Whatever. It is what it is. But I would much rather see a Wonder Woman or Batman show than a Superman show when we already have Supergirl on the air.
If
Um,
they're gonna treat Superman like they do with Supergirl, the way they've been doing, I would definitely watch the hell out of this show.
I just feel like it's so redundant. But yeah, no, I get it. I get what you're saying. I agree. But that said, there's a lot of DC shows I would also watch the hell out of if it were as good as the rest of these
Oh yeah,
CW
they need to
shows.
bring back Constantine. I mean, honestly, that's the first thing they need to do is bring back Constantine.
I like him as like a player in a team, um, like a dark of it. What was he? What was the comic recently with like Swamp
Justice League
Thing?
Dark,
Yeah, Justice League Dark. Like something like that would be really fun. I think.
which they're working on a movie right now.
Yeah, and that's the only thing I like with Constantine. I like him as a character on a show, not as the character of a show.
Oh, and also, from what I understand, one of my favorite directors has just been attached to direct that movie.
Is it Guillermo?
No, no, it's Doug Liman.
Oh, Doug Lyman. Holy crap, I love him. Go was one of my favorite
Mhm.
movies. Yeah,
The
great.
Firstborn movie.
Hmm. Oh, that's
Uh,
fantastic. I can't
yeah,
wait for that.
Swingers.
Swingers.
He's also developing Jumper. You remember the
Yep.
movie that he did, Jumper,
Yeah.
into a series for Netflix.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, Doug Lyman also he directed or worked on at least the first half season of the OC, which is I think another reason I really loved that show and how that show started out. The influence of Doug Liman and Josh Schwartz together was pretty epic.
Yeah, he's a great director. Honestly, I really love pretty much everything he does,
Me too.
and
Okay,
that's what got me excited about that news.
so coming up this week, we've got all your CW recaps in on the docket. Tomorrow we'll have The Flash. The day after that we'll have Arrow, and then on Thursday we'll have Legends of Tomorrow. And we'll have a lot of content we're going to be recording this weekend. So please subscribe to us on iTunes. It'll all just automatically show up in your feed when we get it edited. You can also subscribe to this YouTube channel for all of our TV recaps. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Nerdrotic podcast. You can also just go to nerdrotic.com. That's where everything we do also lives. You can follow me on Twitter at JohnReed16, as I said before. Dennis is at DeForce. And you can also DeForce. And you can also follow at Nerdrotics on Twitter, where we have a lot of news going out. I have a feeling with Doctor Strange coming up, we're going to get some more news out of Marvel, both about Doctor Strange and about the next phase of movies. So please stay tuned to all of these areas, and you'll get all the news briefs as Dennis.
Did you say Doctor Strange?
Yeah. Ooh, talk.
That was my box that I got.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So there was you did an unboxing, right? For all the Funko.
Yes, I did. For the Doctor Strange box.
It was just a post. Yeah. So go over, see what's in that Funko box. You'll probably want to pick it up. It enticed me for sure. Dennis has a good layout of everything that came in that box. It looks super cool.
Yeah, they always do a really good job. I do find the mug a little bit weird, drinking out of somebody's head.
Yes.
Just seems.
I have a Darth Vader mug. Like a coffee, like a Darth Vader coffee mug that's kind of similar. And it's like, at least that's a helmet mask. Like actually drinking out of somebody's head is very strange.
Yeah, I have the C-3PO one they also gave us before with the Star Wars one, which a lot more appropriate because honestly, who wouldn't want to drink out of C-3PO's head and just to quiet him up?
I don't know. I've never really pondered it, but you're right. I would love a C-3PO mug. So is there anything else you want to toss out there before we go?
No, I think we've covered everything there, and next week we're going to see more McGowan, and I already forgot what the preview was for next week.
Me too. I don't know if I stayed tuned for that one.
Yeah, I think I blanked on it, but
yeah, no, but it is exciting. I can't wait for next episode of Supergirl. Yeah, you want to sign us out?
Yes. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out, America.
Awesome.